for 30 years, and they were so generous. He put up, and she put up, I think she more than him maybe, both very much involved, but Michael and Susan put up $6,250,000,000, and I'm sure if I make a phone call, they'll do it again. The job they've done is incredible in life, so we want to thank you very much. Amazing, really amazing. And our friend from Micron, by the way, called me on Friday, and he said Micron's putting in $250 million, and he's done a phenomenal job. And $250 million, and many other companies and people are putting up tremendous amounts of money, and it's something I'm very proud of. Some people think it's going to go down as one of the most important things we've done during the administration. So after a truly historic weekend celebrating the 250th anniversary of America, today we're thrilled to officially launch the Trump accounts, and we had some beautiful people and speeches and tremendous crowds. We had the biggest crowd anyone's ever seen that unfortunately lightning caused it to leave, and everybody said, well, we'll do it another time. When I heard that, I said, no, we won't. Everybody had left. I said, we're not doing it another time. We're doing it on the 4th of July. And we actually started the speech on the 4th of July. We had to wait a little while, like a couple of hours, let the lightning pass. And everyone had left. And we came back, and they had 150,000 people came back they took their car. They're going back home to Texas. They turned their car around. They came back. You wouldn't believe it, 150. I think the 150 was more impressive than the 425 or whatever it was. It was pretty amazing. And Mount Rushmore, likewise, was so incredible. So people love our country. Our country is doing incredibly well. Strongest military in the world has been.
Monday, July 6th, 2026. President Trump has just made history from the Oval Office, ringing both the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ opening bells to officially launch Trump accounts. It is the first time any president has rung the opening bell from inside the White House. The program, created under the Working Families Tax Cuts Act, gives every child born between 2025 and 2028 a $1,000 government seed deposit into a tax-advantaged investment account. So far, 6 million families have signed up, and 86% of them earn under $200,000.
Healthy children at 18, and they can flip it over, or their people can flip it over into other vehicles at a certain age so that they don't take it out. I would recommend they probably don't take it out, but they can have a lot of money, especially if the market continues. Can you imagine if you did this during Trump a year and a half ago, where the market's gone up at levels? As an example, everybody said when I got elected, there's no way that during the 4-year period we'll ever hit 50,000 on the Dow, and we hit 50,000 on the Dow. I would say in the first year, records. We had records. What NASDAQ has done, what the New York Stock Exchange, all the stock exchanges, 7,000 on the S&P was impossible during the first year, but they really thought it was impossible in 4 years, and we hit it before the first year. So if the children had invested the money a year and a half ago, we should have acted faster, actually. It's too bad. But it's going to go up. We have a hot country. It's going to go up. I think the market's going to go through the roof. When all those factories open, they're being built all over the country at record numbers. We have never built in the history of our country what we're building now. We have $19.2 trillion, and much of that money is going toward building factories, plants, AI, automobile. We've never built as many automobile plants. They're all over, and they're coming from all over the world. You know why? Because they don't want to pay tariffs. If they build their cars here, they pay no tariffs. So Japan, instead of making them in Japan or South Korea, instead of making them in Germany with Volkswagen and Mercedes and BMW, they're all building plants here now. They're coming out of Canada. They're coming out of Mexico. Mexico took a lot of our business, so did Canada. They're all coming back. I don't know what the countries are going to do, but they're all coming back. So today, with the ringing of the opening bell for the stock market, those accounts will now begin to grow right along with our booming economy. And I really believe we're going to have the biggest boom of all right now. You haven't seen anything yet. Between individual contributions and the seed funds, $800 million in new capital will be invested in the stock market for America's children this week. And I also think that we're going to be putting...
Over the holiday weekend, President Trump issued pardons to 11 people, including 9 convicted of Clean Air Act violations. The pardoned individuals are diesel mechanics and car tuners who were prosecuted for installing so-called defeat devices, equipment that bypasses federally required emissions controls. Trump said these Americans were, quote, persecuted by the Biden administration and punished for simply fixing their cars. Earlier this year, the Justice Department ordered prosecutors to drop all pending investigations into aftermarket defeat devices.
And he said, what? Where am I? This is so... it takes a while. Actually, if you're negotiating, you have people at a great disadvantage because they're all screwed up, you know? It's a great place. I think it's the most important room anywhere in the world. So I thought it would be good to do this here, right? We seldom do that. But this was the first ever joint bell ringing between the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. And hopefully it won't be the last. I think it's, you know, there are a lot of things you could do together that would be good. It's amazing the way you came together, and it was really easy. And they're competitors. But it's a great tribute, I think, to all of you that you were able to do this. It's people are talking about it. The SEC chair, let me ask you, are you shocked that they came? This makes your job, doesn't this make your job a little bit easier? Isn't it nice?
Yes, it does.
Why can't we do that with Democrats and Republicans? Maybe that's a tougher one. I think that might be tougher. We like borders. We like things that they don't like. But if parents have not done so already, and they are doing so in record numbers, they should go right away to trumpaccounts.gov and sign their child up for a free investment savings account. And again, a lot of people are people that are uninvolved in terms of they don't have the children, but or their children are older, but they're putting millions and millions of dollars into the accounts of poor children, financially poor children. And the parents can't even believe what's happening. So it's an amazing thing. But parents, loved ones, churches, and generous companies and individuals will be able to contribute funds to these accounts to grow throughout the child's life. And again, if we have a good market like we do now, they're going to become actually very rich. They'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think of that. Think of it, a child that has no money can have hundreds of thousands of dollars at a very, very young age. Accounts could grow to be worth numbers that nobody ever thought even possible.
In World Cup news, a major controversy is brewing ahead of tomorrow's round of 16 match between the United States and Belgium. FIFA has reversed the one-game suspension of American striker Balogun, who received a red card in the group stage match against Bosnia and Herzegovina. The White House confirmed a call was made to FIFA President Gianni Infantino to review the decision. Belgium's Football Association says it is, quote, astonished by the reversal and is exploring legal options. On the diplomatic front, President Trump held a 90-minute phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on July 4th, just days ahead of the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey. The Kremlin described the conversation as businesslike and constructive. Trump confirmed his readiness to help end the fighting in Ukraine and said special envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner would continue to pursue a settlement. Trump also spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky that same day, and the two agreed to continue their discussions at the NATO summit.
Generation. We were born on the corner of Wall and Broad Street, where our first president was inaugurated, and we could not be more optimistic about this nation's future. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, thank you very much for inviting us into the Oval Office today to celebrate something very special. You know, as Americans, over many, many generations, we have come together in unity. And today, the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange have come together in unity for a great common cause, the Trump accounts. The Trump accounts are underpinned by the U.S. capital markets, which are really the engine of the greatest economy in the world. But part of that promise of the markets is to make it so every American can share in that great economy. And today, with the Trump accounts, the next generation of Americans, every American, will have the opportunity to be a part and share in this prosperity of this nation. So I want to thank you for your vision, Mr. President, on behalf of NASDAQ and on behalf of the millions of families who will benefit from what you've created. So thank you.
So hi, I'm Jeff Sprecher, the Chairman and CEO of the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange. One of the things that we celebrate on Wall Street, and we all in this room, we talk about Wall Street as the capital markets, and I don't think people realize that partly why Wall Street has its prominence is that our first president was sworn in on Wall Street, and the New York Stock Exchange was started to finance a brand new government and a brand new vision for a country. So it's amazing that 250 years later, this president is making that available to all Americans directly, and so it's incredibly fitting in my mind that we're here in this capital, which obviously is no longer New York, to widen the markets for everybody in the country. So thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for having us here. This is truly a remarkable day, remarkable setting for what has been a historic event. And at NASDAQ, every day we get to see brilliance come through the doors. Companies that have created jobs, that have created an economy, and now the fact that's able to be shared for all these children is just remarkable, remarkable feeling to be here and to look what we've created. So congratulations. Thank you.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump have agreed to meet soon in Washington. The meeting would be the first face-to-face between the two leaders since their dramatic Situation Room session in February. An Israeli official said next week might be too soon because of Trump's trip to Turkey for the NATO summit on July 7th and 8th. Meanwhile, the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran continues to hold under a new memorandum of understanding.
Rich man, he adopted an entire state.
Yeah, so I'm from Indiana, and we're going to add $250 following Michael and Susan to all kids in the state of Indiana under the age of 5. Ray Dalio in Connecticut. We have lots of philanthropists. They're adopting states, cities now. We have the city of San Francisco has been adopted, the city of Oakland, and recently with with Katie, we've adopted a school in the city of Durham. We've adopted a Boys and Girls Club in Philly. We've adopted, a Big Brothers Big Sisters in Newark, New Jersey last Wednesday. And it's all to show the country the art of the possible. When you create an open source platform, anybody can give to anybody. These accounts have a QR code in them, and somebody sends you the QR code and you just double click on your phone and money goes into the account. Thank you to Joe Gebbia and the National Design Studio for their incredible work on the accounts. Thank you.
The head of the SEC.
So, thank you, Mr. President. Paul Atkins, Chairman of the SEC. So this is an amazing day, and really I salute you and Senator and Secretary Bessent for all that you've done, to help these accounts go, and then the philanthropists who have also put money into it. But the Senator has it exactly right. We have to remember that all the folks who signed that document 250 years ago, they understood well that America was actually an investment before it was a nation. So joint stock companies were stood up in England and France and the Netherlands to establish New Amsterdam, for example, now New York, and to support the people there. So that is in our blood as a nation. And everywhere I go around the world to talk to my counterparts, finance and other regulators around the world, they always ask me, how do we replicate America's whole ethos of investment and risk-taking? Well, this is exactly how to do it. And as the Senator said so well, for the next generation to have a feeling that they have a real stake in our economy, in the products that are made for.
In Memphis, Tennessee, 2 National Guard soldiers fatally shot a 20-year-old man early Sunday morning. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation identified the victim as Tyron Johnson, a former Tennessee State University student and young father. Soldiers assigned to the Memphis Safe Task Force were responding to a shots-fired call around 4 a.m. when they pursued Johnson, who authorities say turned toward the troops while holding a handgun. The TBI has opened an independent investigation into the incident. That is your Trump brief for Monday, July 6th. Trump accounts are officially live, and the world is watching as the NATO summit approaches. For the latest each and every day, subscribe to the Trump Brief USA. We will see you tomorrow.